All right, welcome to Brett B from Outer Space. Today we have Mr. Chad Bourquin and also Nick Nave on the show. We're going to be talking about the return of live music. It's been a weird year last year. We had pretty much zero things going on. I think Nick had some things going on and here and there, but compared to this year, it's completely different. And we're going to talk about that. Maybe some new things that have popped up because of that. Let's welcome Chad and Nick. You guys, there's a bigger crowd here than I expected. I was not expecting this many people. It must be, you guys must have some clout.
It's Nick.
It's Nick.
Oh, no.
All right. Thanks for being on today. I'm going to jump in real quick, if you guys don't mind, because there's a few things I want to hit, and I want to try to squeeze this in an hour. And if you're watching this, we're going to take some questions at the end. We'll just post your questions in the chat, and we'll get to those at the end. First of all, Nick, I want to know. Well, explain your project, and then explain what it's like for you in live music right now.
Yeah, so I was just a little backstory. I've been playing in a full band and then a duo here and there and a solo acoustic. So then last year, I really did a lot of solo acoustic stuff starting in June. These were places wanting to almost exclusively outdoors live music, but really in a marketplace that didn't have a lot of live music going on. I actually had a lot of opportunities as a solo acoustic artist. So then late 2020 decided to start a duo as well, which also can kind of expand to a full band, a duo with a friend of mine named Anna. And so it's a male female duo, and it's 70s to now, great songs, classic rock, country, pop, tons of great vocals and duet harmonies and all that stuff. So really thought, man, this would be a great time, because we had been actually meeting with Chad and some others and just talking about, like, this is kind of a repressed market, but because of all the stuff going on, and so it's going to open up. There's going to be new opportunities. So part of the reason to start the duo in many ways was to expand into what I thought would be some new opportunities, a lot of opportunity. So then this year came along and things were kind of quiet in January and February, but really pretty good bookings really for that time of year. For me, that's solo and duo and some full band. And then now fast forward to May of 2021, and we are, I've never seen anything like this. I've been doing live music in Kansas City area for 20 plus years, and I've never seen this, like never. And so this is like opportunities upon opportunities, and I'm talking about, if for those of you who are, it's like text, Facebook Messenger, this one email, this other email, phone and voicemail. I mean, I literally have like 27 categories of things that are coming in from all different kinds of places, from an agent, from individual venues, from private parties. I mean, like, I've never seen this before. The demand, in my opinion, is far outweighing the supply at this point. I mean, just, it's unbelievable how many people want live music in this market, and I'm sure that's true in a lot of other markets across the country.
Yeah. Chad, I want you to speak to that. Chad is, for those of you who don't know, Chad's my brother, and we have a band called Big Time Grain Company, but he also has a entertainment booking company called Generation Relevant, and he's had similar things to as you said, Nick. What's that look like from the booking point right now, Chad?
Yeah, it's the same thing that Nick's experiencing, just multiplied, because we're getting all of the clients that we were booking in 2019 that did entertainment in 19. A few of those did some the outdoor ones did entertainment last year, but everything in 2019 came back. Plus, everybody who thought they wanted to book entertainment is booking entertainment. People that have never booked entertainment and don't even know how to book entertainment is booking entertainment. And now there's like, I mean, and that's factoring in events, festivals, private parties. I mean, there's just so much going on right now. And yeah, and then I'm, you know, I can a little bit later. I would like to speak specifically what, you know, just what Nick did over 2020 that I think he's really benefiting from right now. So
before we get into that, can we talk about the why behind this? I think we all have a kind of a hunch of why this is happening, but I want to hear it from you guys.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a psychological factor of the reopening that is that's in the venue side and the event side. A psychological factor meaning there's a lift, so people are just excited to not only offer live entertainment, get people coming back out to their restaurants and bars that have maybe been shut down for the most part, or certainly altered for a better part of a year. So I think that's a big part. People want to get out and do stuff. And then I think there's literally a market that went away, like Chad was saying. This is in the wedding side. I mean, just specifically in weddings, there really were like very few weddings in 2020, but still the same amount of people with scheduled weddings and desiring to get married. So that's like, now we're like catching up, and I bet it's going to take 2 years to catch up to a 1 year gap of no weddings, more or less.
Huh.
So I think there's like actually a physical, just a way more events, and people are getting married on Mondays, and you know, I mean, Monday, you know,
Love it.
Great.
Monday. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, Chad, I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool if you did talk about what Nick did different. What do you say we listen to some of his acoustic stuff before we do that, huh? Does that sound good?
yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I miss the rains down in Africa. I miss the rains down in Africa. I miss the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never had. Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Don't you wanna dance? Say you wanna dance. Don't you wanna dance? Don't you wanna dance? Say you wanna dance. Don't you wanna dance? Don't you wanna dance? Say you wanna dance. Don't you wanna dance? With somebody who loves me. Baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart. Thinking out loud, maybe we found love right where we are. Oh, baby, give me one more chance. Show you that I love you. Won't you please let me back in your heart? Oh, darling, I was blind to let you go. Now, since I see you in his arms, I want you back. 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 Ooh, and then I had to tell him I had to go. Na 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 na. Half of my heart is in Havana. Na na. He took me back to East Atlanta. Na na. Oh, my heart is in Havana. My heart is in Havana. Havana, na na. Like a
Nick and Anna. I think this is a good segue, Chad, for you to talk about prep. I think, isn't it? I can't remember when this happened. We helped with these videos. Was that kind of in the lull, or was that? I can't remember when that was.
I think it was January
January.
of this
Oh,
year.
this
and
year.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely in a lull. I mean, you know, more than now.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the first thing that Nick started doing was changing clothes every set.
It's impressive. That's pretty impressive. He has
Yeah,
a lot
so-
of he has a lot of denim too. I know that much. I can relate. I can relate to that.
So here's the thing. As long as I've known Nick and booked Nick and even worked with Nick, it's never been about the quality with him. You know, he worked on that years before we ever met. And so it's always been, you know, just every show has always been really good with Nick. So it wasn't those things that were keeping him from getting better gigs. I mean, that was the constant with him. So what, you know, but hats off to you, Nick, because what you did that entire year was you said, what can I do to use this time to get ready, you know, get some things better in the marketing, get some things better in the videos like that, get some, you know, just get out of this same thing that I've been doing for, you know, which every artist does. You know, there's so many talented artists in Kansas City that I would think if you ask most of them, they'd say, well, I kind of feel like I'm in a rut. I'm doing the same thing over and over again. And the ways there's ways to get out of that. And Nick began exploring that a year ago when we started working together. And it's just, you've just done such a great job on that. And now you're just on the beginning, and you're not just booked up, but now you're on the beginning of seeing a level of gigs go up higher. And when I'm talking about higher, I'm talking about quality gig, quality of pay for sure. And just not the same grind that a lot of artists have to do over and over just to try to get a gig. You're rising out of that. And I think you've only seen the tip of the iceberg of where that's going for you, you know? So
Yeah.
I mean, I can go in deeper, but that's the global view.
Well, I might ask you to go deeper because I mean, I think there's probably people that, well, I know there's musicians out there, and without going too far down a rabbit hole here, you know, the idea that musicians should be paid for what they're worth is important to me, and I know to you guys as well. The amount of hours that a person spends to develop skills and learn how to do something that Nick does is, I mean, those hours are in the thousands, you know. So it's like at some point there needs to be a thought about compensation for that. And I think, Chad, you have a unique advantage point of seeing a lot of bands come through. And what are some of the things that people can do to go to the next level, and even capitalize on what's going on right now?
Well, I think the first thing to fix is a mindset. A mindset that the starving artist mindset is something that has to be released, and just say that's not even true. It doesn't need to be true. It's not true. So let's stop saying it, you know. That's the first step, you know. And then the next step is then we start treating treating it like a business, you know. And when we start treating things like a business, then we can start, getting the benefits of the growth of the business. Now, that might be, you might know a few of those items, what they are, but not the rest of them. Well, then that's when you need to find somebody that does know how to take you through those processes. You know, everything that we've learned, through Big Time Grain Company, either came from learning from somebody else or just hitting our heads against the wall so many times. It's like, man, there's got to be a better way to do this. And so, man, and Nick, I'd love to hear, what, on the last year, what do you think are some of the things that really made the biggest difference for you in that area?
Yeah, well, that's good. Like, as you're talking, I was thinking about, last year, if it was ground zero, right around March or whatever that time was. So, I mean, I even had some stuff booked out solo acoustic, throughout the year, some through you, Chad, it was just all canceled essentially, like
Mhm.
overnight. Like, and that's the truth for every performance based creative. And I'm talking like in dance, theater, live music. I mean, everything. Comedians. I mean, it all obviously just got all canceled. So you're kind of like at a ground zero. So what happened for me is I just something flipped, and I don't have a problem being aggressive, I guess, or being assertive. And I just decided I'm gonna start saying yes immediately, and I'm gonna pursue any and all leads to be out playing in this time that is there's a ripe market because everything was canceled. So anybody that wants to book live music in 2020, I'm going to say yes. So that was not being discriminate necessarily about the pay, but rather just saying yes. And I was like, yeses are going to lead to more yeses are going to lead to more yeses. And that ended up being true, um, for sure. And so I had a really busy 2020, and but I was doing roughly the same exact gig over and over again in roughly a handful of the same exact places, um, all usually very fun, not things that I didn't want to do, but definitely the same pay, same places, same type of stuff like that. So um, what I did is I actually met with Chad and a group of fellow musicians and creatives on Chad's mastermind Zoom, and there we just began to hear from Chad and others with some expertise areas that I didn't know, and took notes and decided to make some changes. And a lot of it is real um, simple steps in marketing or in getting a good demo. There's a lot of different things, and we can obviously keep going deeper on that too. But it wasn't like being a genius. It was just doing a few things each week and doing the next week's few things and the next week's few things. And then, to be honest, getting with Chad and Brett and doing those videos was the culmination of this whole thing, which were those demo videos looked and sounded great. They were economical to make, and they really just are like a key that has unlocked a lot of this as well. So um, I think those are some of the things.
Yeah, and now you're having to learn how to say no,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, that's very true.
So
Yes, trying to say no, like even one of the specific strategies, honestly, for artists, this may sound counterproductive. So I was saying yes, 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 and now you have to say, now there's a strategy to saying no, 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 some of the time, leaving some holes in your schedule so that they can be filled up as this demand for live events happens. And it is a fine line because, and I've even confessed to Chad and stuff and laughed about it. Like, I just, I feel lazy or I feel funny, like not having a full schedule. Um, and, and it's like, it's the right thing because these things are filling up now with much, much, much higher paying events, and gigs. And that's awesome. I'm not saying I did all that, but there has been some strategic schedule gaps that has allowed for that.
So, what I think you've hit on some of this. What new things or creative ideas was there anything spawned out of the COVID and zero live music season? Was there any new things that came out and you were like, hey, we should try this? I like to hear that from Nick if there's anything on the band side, but also Chad. Are there any new types of revenue? I don't know, revenue streams not the right word, but any kind of avenues for live music that have popped up because of COVID.
Yeah, I'll start. There was definitely live stream concerts, live stream events kind of came about fairly quickly there in March and April of last year. Not that they didn't exist before, but all of a sudden that was like the only thing you could do. And so there were this was like all the biggest artists in the entire world were doing this, not just Kansas City based local artists. Um, so that was one thing. And though I never did very many of those, but that's basically what we did in that recording that you saw. I mean, it's basically like taking that type of thing and putting it in a little box and making it cut and pastable and usable for a lot of different promotional things. And I think that was new to me. I don't think I would have ever even really considered doing that without kind of having seen that in the live stream concert type of world. And there's like Facebook Live, YouTube, you know, all the different kind of things that people use for that.
What about you, Chad? Have you anything on that?
I mean, I think the streaming thing, we were all forced into learning how to stream. I mean, musicians and everybody. I mean, people that had never Zoomed were Zooming now, you know, but millions of people. And so I don't know that we've completely seen where that's going to land yet. I know there's companies out there building hybrids off of all kinds of different avenues just to be able to do, Brett, and you've talked about this, where it's not either or, it's a both scenarios. So you can go to a live show, but if you live in Australia, you're still going to be able to watch it type scenario, and it's going to be done with high quality. I mean, I think that was part of the issue with a lot of those live streams, is they were just throwing a phone up, and you know, that's okay. iPhones did a good job of those, but there's a whole nother level that can go to with, you know, multiple cameras and actual recording studio quality, which I think we'll see. I think we're going to start seeing some applications of that in live shows as well, just to reach a broader market than who could physically show up.
Yeah. Chad, you also play guitar for other people and been playing around, so it's not, this question's for both of you, but Jenny, my wife, she was like halfway through COVID, because Jenny's how should I say this? She's one of those people that if she goes to watch live music, she's there to watch the music, and she will actually get irritated with people around her if they're not paying attention to the musician. It's like, you know, I don't know, talking at an art gallery or something to her or something, but she doesn't. She's like, I wonder if people will appreciate live music more after it's gone. And I'm curious if you've seen any of that in your audiences, or just general feeling out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. You're making me think of a couple of awesome, even just anecdotes, stories from last year. And I mean, I'm not kidding. It's not because I'm inducing tears, and these are tears of joy, by the way, not tears of sadness, I don't think, or pain or anything like that. But like, I mean, there's been multiple instances with people, like, I mean, we're playing some of the songs you just heard in that little demo video, playing some of those songs live at kind of like regular places, and people are like coming up with tears in their eyes, just saying, didn't realize how much I missed live music. This is the first time I've seen live music in a year. You know, played an event yesterday, and it was like a COVID baby who's been, you know, was born in March of last year. This little guy's walking around now at this event. This is the first music, like literally the first like live music, or actually they were saying first, I guess his parents don't sing at all. So there was like, this is the first time he's heard someone sing, literally.
Oh, wow.
You know, at a year and a half old. I mean, it's like, that's never going to happen again. I mean, that was insane. And I mean, and I love it. I count it a blessing to be able to be a part of people's lives and stories, bringing joy to people through music is kind of my individual purpose statement. And I do love being a part of that, but it also is very surprising. It's just very surprising. It still touches me quite deeply whenever that happens. And that's not why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it to get someone to have that reaction necessarily, but that's just powerful. And there's something happening there that is way beyond me when we're doing a gig or an event.
Yeah. What about you, Chad?
Yeah, I think just the, you know, anytime something is taken away from us, we will tend to miss it more, you know, and that definitely happened with music. And so it's caused this a desire to realize how important it is in our lives. Uh, I mean, not everybody feels that way, but the people that love music and love live music, they definitely realized it.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think people that maybe didn't even know they loved it maybe realized they loved it because they lost it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, and to be honest with you, like another thing, I mean, just this is just a memory. I mean, like last uh, Valentine's Day weekend of last year, 2020, went to with my wife. We went to see Dustin Lynch. This is you're gonna get a little glimpse that I like country music. Went to see Dustin Lynch in Kansas City at the Midland, and then the next night went to Wichita to see Jason Aldean at Intrust Bank Arena. And we saw both of these, and man, I'm talking like Dustin Lynch was amazing, great production. Jason Aldean's like next level live music presentation. And to me, I mean, those are like my favorite things in the entire world. And we're just sitting there. We have tickets for all these other things we're planning on going to, and all of a sudden, that's like the last concerts, the last those type of concerts that we've been to now in close to a year and a half. So you're like savoring those memories, and like just holds a different place in your brain and heart than you
Yeah.
thought it would.
Well, and you hit on something there, Nick, because the big ones haven't come back yet, and some of them, like the Kenny Chesney big event, that's not happening this year. Because of that, I think that's created even a bigger opportunity for local and regional entertainment because we're helping fill that void.
Yeah, I mean, that even makes me think of even just the industry as a whole. I mean, I'm sure that has churned a lot of people out of this industry in places like Nashville, et cetera. And it's created a new entry point for everyone.
Hmm.
And that can be veteran artists like myself, or brand new people, or just new ideas and all this different stuff. So really that mindset of the starving artist and woe is me, that is the thing that needs to be released. I think that's super powerful to hear Chad say that.
Yeah. Totally. And I've heard a lot of stories too about other than just music. It's like, yeah, I got fired from I got laid off from my job, and I've always wanted to have a hot sauce company, so I started one, and now it's going gangbusters, and I love my life. You know, I mean, like, just the idea of something painful and starting something new out of that because you're almost just not really forced, but there's an opportunity to go for something. You know, I think I'm curious too, like from and maybe Chad, you can talk to this about the venue perspective. Has there been have we lost a lot of venues, or are there new venues to replace those, et cetera? Oops.
Yes, we've lost some, and there has been some to replace those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this actually on the mastermind this morning, that the opportunity is never lost. It's only passed on. And so that's essentially what's happened. There was, and you got to wonder, the ones that did go down, that might've been their reset. It's like, man, I don't want to do this anymore anyways.
Yeah.
Just give me an excuse. To
Yeah,
shut
for
it
real.
down. So,
I mean, I think that's kind of part of my point is like some of these people are way happier because they lost their jobs, and they're, like you were saying, Nick, there was an entry point. Now there's something to open up that was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I've always wanted to do this. Now I don't have a job. I don't really have any more excuses not to do it. My comfortability is gone. My safety net is gone. Why not? And oddly enough, I think that's a beautiful thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the reset, that reset almost puts you back to whenever you were dreaming big, about things, and you didn't have any restrictions because and this, you can have a family and it's important to make money and all that stuff, but just conceptually, your dreams can emerge again. You just get this wide open horizon that you maybe just didn't have when even 2 years ago, because you were kind of stuck in a rut. And I'm not categorizing all regular jobs as being stuck in a rut or anything, but
Right.
It is an opportunity. It's been beautiful.
So Chad, anybody that is listening and that's like, hey, I want to do this. I've always wanted to do this, and I think I have the talent to do it, and I have the drive to do it, like Nick has. What's the first steps for them? What can they do?
Well, I think the first step is to assess where you are currently. And, and this is good in any part of life. Figure out what you already bring to the table, what you're really good at, and then figure out what you're not good at, and what either needs to be shored up by another person, by them doing that part of it, or them helping educate you on how to do that. I mean, that's the whole reason we have that course, that play music, make more course, is to shore up what the deficits there. But we're not, that might not be the deficit that you need. We've got, like, one of the guys that we've worked with, we sent him to Robin Christie because he wanted to work on just his vocal and his strength as a vocalist, and what he was able to do with that. And we knew, just because we'd been through Robin Christie's trainings, that they would do that, and they have done that. And well, he's still going to them, but so figuring out with the help of others what is the easiest and fastest way to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be experimenting a lot, and with experimenting comes bruised, your foreheads, because you just can't know everything. So it's better to ask other people.
Yeah. Nick, you have a lot of experience in addition to the music. You're a worship leader at Heartland. Can you give me just a real quick Cliff Note version of your history?
Yeah, so I've been parallel careers, essentially leading worship at a large church in multiple different roles for approximately 20 years, and at the same time doing original bands, starting in Lawrence, and then moving into Kansas City, duo bands. And I'm talking like, when I'm talking like original, I'm talking like 100% original, no covers at all. So on the one hand, leading worship, doing some original songs there, but a lot of covers, if you will, of worship songs, and then original rock music. This would be recording and live appearances. And so really it's been an in and out flow of all those things over the course of my career. It's been nothing has ever really gone away, but sometimes some things are hotter than the others. And so that's been, and I have a personality that allows me to enjoy that. I would much rather have a few different outlets rather than one solitary outlet. And that's been pretty much been 20 years steady of all of that stuff happening all at the same time. And more now, it's funny, we're doing more original worship music and recording some of that in Nashville and things like that. And then on the club venue event side, it's like all covers. And I love that too. Like, I just love all of it. I love all the opportunities to do this, to be honest. So not everybody maybe is wired that way. Some people maybe are wired to have one thing they specialize in, and that's awesome too. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to get after it. But I sure love all of it. I was just reflecting that my personal like solo and duo set list, I mean, it has completely changed from last June, like, because the opportunity I saw was to make people happy and bring joy to people in a really a dark time in our country, to be honest. And so joyful is like songs that make them laugh and cry and have fun, and it's just like, it's been awesome. I mean, it's just been a totally fun change. So
what you're saying is you dropped a lot of the 90s out.
All gone. No more sad songs.
Angst. No, can I hear one angst song, Nick? Just one.
I don't even know if I can do that anymore.
Yeah, I think also you touched on something I think is very, very important, is why you do something. I mean, it wasn't the money. This time you were like, no, people need to be we need to bring joy, we need to bring smiles and hope for people. And you weren't in it just going, oh, I got to do this because I'm going to capitalize on the money. And I think the money comes, but the original thought and the original source was kind of pure and motive that way. I don't know if I have a question for that.
Well, I was gonna say not to give myself all the credit for that because, or not to say that I wake up with the purest heart every day. I mean,
Well, you're
you know,
glowing right now. There's like this orb. Oh,
some of it is like,
that's a light. That's the backlight. Sorry.
some of it is like some of it is like, again, it's just this kind of flow of like, you know, I want to make money being in music. And to be honest, one of my mentors a long time ago, he told me, he said, do you want to be a musician for a job? And I said, yeah. And he's like, well, don't make all your money from music. I mean, that's what he told me. So he didn't, it wasn't a burden he put on me. He just said, if you're making your money from music, then you're a professional musician. So that from starting from ground zero right now, that's kind of also can be true too. But the motivation has been defined, I think, more this year outside of the money, and it makes the money come quicker. It's kind or like bigger, you know. It's just like you're saying. It's just kind of funny because it's like if it's money, grind, you know, all day long, it just doesn't. The equation ends up fizzling out, I think.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, and that focus will burn you out too, if that's the focus. Where if it's what you're talking about, you know, and yeah, granted, all of us wake up in the morning on wrong sides of the bed. So the key is what do we do once we get out of it, right? But if we keep the focus on and keep returning the focus to others, you know, what can I do to make these people's lives better that are at this show, you know, and it may be a song and play. It might be just because I smiled at them and it was the first smile that they've had all day because they just left that crappy job, you know, you just never know. But if that's the focus, man, hands down, the money follows that. It will follow that. There's value to that.
Totally. Nick, can you tell us where you are next? I think I pulled up some stuff here on Facebook. I think this is accurate. Is this week right here?
Yeah, tonight. This is Thursday night, May 13th at Martin City Brewing Company with the duo. That's in the Martin City location in Kansas City, Missouri. And then tomorrow night, solo, acoustic solo, which I still do that too and love that, at Peculiar Winery in Peculiar, Missouri. So those are the next two opportunities. And it's interesting you like highlight those. This is maybe not random, but those are two of my very favorite places to play because they are passionately owned and run local businesses who I believe have a great knack for hospitality and you know, obviously for beer and pizza on the one hand, Martin City, and wine and slushies at Peculiar Winery, but really it's this like big heart of the owners and general managers to offer an incredible hospitality experience. And I love partnering with businesses like that. I love it. I mean, that alone could get me up every morning, just kind of fired up every day. So I love it.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question here, Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said something there that was key. You said you love partnering with businesses. That is not a comment most musicians will make. What do you mean by that?
Well, thanks for pointing that out. I think it's not like I see myself as an employee, and I don't feel like I'm tapping into a money source, you know, and just extracting money and leaving as fast as possible. Partnering is the way that I see it, and Chad, you've helped a lot with helping to define this, but it's a big picture, you know, with my arm around the general manager, my arm around the staff on the other hand, I mean, metaphorically. And so what I feel like we're doing together is bringing an incredible experience to their customers. And honestly, lives change, things happen in places of hospitality. Connections are made. you know, you just never know what's going on with those people, the customers. And, you know, I like being a partner with the staff and the managers, just being, being dependable. I'm really feel like I'm representing those venues when I'm there and when I'm promoting people to get there. So it's not like I'm saying, come and see Nick play in a vacuum. Nick. I mean, really, I want everyone to come to those venues to see me is fine, but really to come and experience a beautiful and hospitable evening out, you know. I mean, and I know that may sound a little cheesy, but I really do mean that. And I mean, I definitely approach everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can contest to seeing you. The first time I saw you play in I think outside of church. I think the first time I saw you, I was like, this dude really cares about what he's doing right now. You're fully present. You're aware of what this is kind of not a good way to put this, but you're aware of kind of why you're there. It's not just for you, but for the it's for the customer, and you highlight. You have a great way of highlighting who's around you and who's your partner. Like you use the word partner, but that's a very awesome thing, and I don't know, just don't see a lot of that around. How do you teach something like that?
Huh. Well, you know, that's interesting. That might be something good for me to teach and down the road. But that's, you know, there's a, you know, language is important, posture is important. Language is important, meaning, man, it is so great to be all together today. You know, I've learned a lot of this from church stuff too, but I mean, it's great to be together today at this place. I mean, I like to say that basically every time I play anywhere. You know, it's great. And your posture, again, I just like posture just has to be like wide open. I'm talking about physical posture. And I mean, sometimes I'm in a bad mood, so it's not perfectly executed at all times, but just coming in ready to roll and you know, ready for people to have a good night. And I even think, even approaching it from if you look at the negative side, if there was if you have a bad night at a bar as a musician, and you don't do a good job and you're grumpy and things turn sour, I mean, that bar is having a really bad night. I mean, that you never know. I mean, it's negative upon negative. So what I see is it's every chance is an opportunity to partner and promote, you know, things that I'm passionate about. And I know the owners of Martin City and Peculiar Winery, I mean, lots of others too, but I know they're passionate about what they do. I mean, they love their jobs. They love their businesses. They love their employees. They care for their employees. There's a family usually amongst the employees. I mean, like not a nuclear family, but there's people. And so to me, I mean, I just love all of that. I think it's just powerful. And this year's been amazing for that. So, but I think posture and language, I think, again, I just want to like, it's kind of like going out and giving a big hug to the crowd with your words and with your actions and your songs and all that kind of stuff. That's another good way to see it.
Yeah, totally. So this group that you guys have is what's called Mastermind group?
Yeah, Music Business Mastermind.
Music Business Mastermind. Are you taking any more people right now for that, or
Yes.
where you at with that? How would they sign up, or how would they get a hold of you and all that good stuff?
It's playmusicmakemore.com.
Okay. Yeah. I helped you make the commercial for that shot, so I should have known that. I didn't know if there was a special.
I didn't change the URL.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a special email or something. So, how long have you guys? I'm curious about this. We'll wrap up here in a little bit, but I'm curious about that. How is that going? That's a very, I think that's a unique thing in music. I mean, you see some of that mastermind or the think tanks and some of these other things, but I feel like for local musicians, that's a pretty unique group to have. How is that going?
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, it's going very well. You know, Chad's leadership is really brilliant in that. He's a very, I mean, all these things I was talking about, partnering with businesses and things, that's the way Chad approaches all of this as well, everything that he does. So he's very he's really good at listening and offering guidance and direction, but it's really made perfectly for musicians who can be very sensitive souls, as we all know. And and he's just great at it
What?
because like
What are you? Did you say something about me, Nick?
don't people like the music, and can't they put up with sensitive people that make music? I'll never get over that. But like literally, you know, he inspires each one of us in the group, I think, to get better by doing practical things that do not feel punitive. They don't feel like punishments or corrections. That sort of thing is like, can be really like nails on the chalkboard for a musician or a creative oftentimes. And so it's been, if you go in on this long haul, and really Chad kind of runs this like a family, in my opinion too. I mean, it's like friendships now that came up out of this. I mean, out of nowhere. I mean, I knew of Chad already, but I didn't know any of the other guys on it. And, it's been a lifeline in a time of not very much friendship because of the COVID stuff. And it's been great. I mean, it's totally worth doing, even for a little while, just to kind of check it out. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, totally.
And these guys are passing around leads now too, which is fun. Like we've got one guy on there that's newer into the music market, and Nick's been hooking him up with some stuff because he's ready for it, and it's been really fun to see that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was actually my next question is, so do you find yourself, it's like a family. Do you find yourself helping each other out more than just like leads, like supporting each other and like a phone call away sort of deal?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not, maybe one step removed from that, but maybe not. Just kind of depends on which relationship it is.
Yeah.
But certainly coming out to see each other play shows and
Yeah.
I mean, that's been specific. And I have another group of musicians that I have a text chain with, also in the same space. A lot of support. I mean, all support actually. It's never competition. I'm learning a lot on how to not be. I think every musician, everybody needs to. I mean, I need to start, but it's helpful to learn how to not be competitive at all times. It's like everybody getting gigs is a good thing. Everybody having success is a good thing, and it's just powerful. It's been really, really awesome.
Yeah. Very cool. I don't think I have any more questions on my list today, guys. You guys have anything you want to add?
I appreciate you doing the show. I mean, I think this is, and here's why I think this is important, is I got a text today from, I was talking to somebody about doing a gig, and he said, if you got anybody else you want to send this to, feel free, because I'm feeling a little guilty because I got so many gigs, and when all my other musician friends are starving out there. And I'm like, I sent him a text back. I was like, man, who is starving out there right now?
Yeah, really.
Because it is not a starvation time,
Yeah.
And so I think if somebody is struggling with that there's probably a few quick tweaks that can change that completely around, especially right now.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, so so they need to contact you through Play Music Make More, or is that still the best?
Or just get help from somebody. It doesn't have to be me. I mean, it's important to find people in space, successful in the space you want to be, and learn from them. That's the key right there.
Yeah.
If it's us, great. If it's somebody else, that's cool too.
Yeah, totally. Right on. All right. Nick, did you have anything else before I wrap this up?
No, I just want to say thanks for the opportunity. And this has been, it's been a really, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's been a definitely a year of growth, but really a fun year. And I just feel like it's just going to be an awesome 2021, and loving the journey, and If anybody's interested in my music or our duo, you can always go to nicknavemusic.com and check that out. And I mean, I look forward to what's next, and just awesome. I really do feel like young and hungry and happy and it's like really just a blessing. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. All right, people, give it up for Nick Nave and Chad Bourquin. Such a good audience we have today. Oh, one more time. Why not? That guy in the back. I love that guy in the back that yells, woo! Anyway. Thanks, guys, for being on. This is Brett B from Outer Space. If you like what you heard today, subscribe to our channel, like the video, and comment. And also, Nick has his own YouTube channel. See if I can pull it up here. Whoops. I hit the wrong button. Nick and Anna, acoustic duo. And go on their channel and support what they're doing. Also, Facebook page, Nick Nave Music, right there.
Yeah, pretty much all this is under Nick Nave Music.
Okay.
YouTube or Facebook or website, Instagram.
Instagram, okay. You got a TikTok?
No. Should I? I know I should.
It's crazy, man. I wasn't gonna do TikTok, and then I tried it and I got addicted to it. And I'm like, now I gotta make myself stop doing it right now. So it's pretty funny. And then Chad, if you're a venue out there or wanting to book entertainment, generationrelevant.com, and he'll hook you up, book a band. Thanks again for being on the show, guys. And we're going to end this one right here with a little self-promotion from Play Music Make More. All right.
The
Thanks,
music
guys.
industry
See
is
you later.
drastically changing, and for the better. The power to have a successful music career is in your hands and no longer up to a few gatekeepers. The key is having the right information, the right tools, and committing to do the work. I want to help you jumpstart your career with my free ebook called Play Music Make More. This free ebook is everything we've done with our own group, as well as what I've learned being an entertainment agent, and it's all played into the success we've had as independent artists. Visit playmusicmakemore.com to get your free copy today.
I guess we're done.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brett.
I appreciate it. Have a great afternoon.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Nick. Nice job, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.